How's it going, everybody? Today we are going to try and grow some vegetables in my tiny greenhouse. I built this thing not too long ago and I've had some success last year with growing a few things, so this year I decided to give it another go. But before starting to plant some vegetables in the greenhouse, I had one big problem to solve, and that was the weeds. My goodness, these weeds are such a pain. There's even a tree growing here. Why is there a tree growing in my greenhouse? No matter how many times I cleared the greenhouse of these weeds, they just kept on growing back. So this year I decided to invest in this thing. Right, so this is a mat that we are going to put on the floor of the greenhouse, and it's supposed to keep the weeds from growing. Now, I've never used anything like this before, so I'm actually really curious to see if it works. Now, of course, before laying this magic carpet on the floor, I first had to remove all the weeds that grew in the greenhouse over the winter. Alright, so I've started to remove all the weeds from the greenhouse, but as I was doing that, I actually spotted, check it out, I spotted a lizard. Hey, little buddy, can you guys see him? He's so camoed. Check him out. I'm not gonna get too close, but check it out. That right there is a sketchy lizard. I think this little guy is living in my greenhouse. I think he lived here during the winter because it's pretty warm inside, so... Look at him! Well, it looks like we are going to start a bit of a zoo in here because we also have a snail. Look at him! Hey, bud! So we have a lizard in here and we also have the snail. You know, now I'm scared that we're gonna have a snake in here as well. Hopefully that's not the case. I don't like the schnackes. I'm fine with lizards and whatnot, but snakes freak me the flip out, so I'm just gonna do this. Hopefully we're not gonna have anything else lurking in here, but yeah, I'm gonna have to do this by hand because I mean they're right next to the top of the greenhouse and I don't wanna, shove any machinery in here because it might damage the tarp. So we're doing all this by hand and it's gonna take me a quick second, but we're gonna do it. Look at all this stuff, jeez. Now that I had removed all the extra grass, I also had to prepare the soil because it was really hard and compacted and it wasn't ready for the actual plants. And to get it ready, I was gonna use this machine. Right, so this is what we are going to use to loosen up the soil where we are going to plant the vegetables. Trouble is, I've never used this thing, so my buddy here on the camera is going to explain how to turn it on.
So you see there on your right,
Okay.
you have a button there, a blue one.
I have two buttons.
Yes, a blue one on the right, no,
one on
left.
the bottom, one on the left.
On the left one button, you have to press that button and then press the one in the middle, both at the same time.
Okay, I got it. It took me a second to get the hang of it, but once I did, I managed to get the floor of the greenhouse ready and I loosened up the soil in about an hour or so, and that's because I had to take a few breaks since it was incredibly hot inside. But now that the soil was ready, it was time to put the magic carpet down on the floor of the greenhouse. And as I've said, this thing is supposed to keep the weeds from growing, but it was a bit of a pain fitting it inside. I bought the smallest one I could find at the store, but it was still 10 meters by 4 meters. So it was a lot larger than my greenhouse, so I had to make sure to measure it right and cut it so it could perfectly fit on the floor. But after a bit of measuring, cutting, tinkering and a lot of sweating, I managed to get it done. Alright, job well done. I've managed to put the tarp down. I still have to make some holes in the tarp for the plants to go through, but I'm gonna do that some other time because it is incredibly hot in here. Now that the tarp or the carpet was down on the floor of the greenhouse, I had to make some holes in it just so we could put the plants in the ground. And this actually took me an entire afternoon, mostly because I was afraid that I would ruin the carpet, so I slowly made all the holes with a pair of scissors. But when it comes to the plants, these were some of the things that we were going to put in the greenhouse. And check it out, these are some of the vegetables that we are going to be planting in the greenhouse. We have some tomatoes, we have some cucumbers, we have some peppers and a few other things. I'm gonna plant some more vegetables outside, but throughout this video we are going to focus on our little greenhouse here. Well, it took a while, but everything was now ready for the vegetables, so I planted them all and filled up the entire greenhouse. Alright, so check it out, all the plants are in the ground. So the greenhouse isn't all that big, it's 6 meters by 3 meters. So what I've done, I've made 4 rows of vegetables and each row has 11 plants. So we have a grand total of 44 plants in here. But yeah, now that they're all in the ground, I'm gonna have to actually attach some strings to them because it took me a while to actually get everything ready, so they grew quite a bit. And since they're so big, some of them are actually laying on the floor, like this guy here. This cucumber here grew quite a bit, so he's pretty heavy, so he's kind of going to the side. So I'm gonna have to attach some strings to them and then get them all the way up to the roof of the greenhouse. The plants grew quite a bit as I worked on the greenhouse, so as soon as I planted them I had to also attach them to these strings because they were fairly big and some of them did start to kind of fall over, so I had to attach them all to these strings. I'm actually really happy with how things turned out here. We've managed to put down the mat, we've also made some holes in the mat and we've got the plants through the holes. Then we've attached all the plants to these strings as well so they can grow as high as they want. So all we gotta do now is hope that all of them are going to catch roots and none of them are going to wither away. As luck would have it, I didn't have to replace any of the plants. They all cut roots, all the cucumbers and the tomatoes. I actually ended up squeezing a few peppers inside of the greenhouse as well, and for the next couple of weeks I took care of them the best I could. You know, made sure that they had enough water and whatnot, and the first plants that started to grow the actual vegetables were the cucumbers. Alright, so it's been about 3 weeks since we've put everything in the greenhouse, and I'm happy to say that all the plants are doing well and some of them are actually starting to make some vegetables like the cucumbers. We have a couple of cucumbers growing here and then we have some more growing in the back. Look at this little guy here. He's got like 3 cucumbers growing. Check it out. Some of them grew pretty big, like this guy right over here, but some of them are pretty small still. And that's because the weather has been absolutely terrible lately. It's been cloudy, it's been raining, it's been cold, so the plants haven't got a lot of sun these past couple of weeks, so they didn't grow all that much, but still, I think they're doing well. Now, when it comes to the tarp, I'm actually really happy with it. At the moment, it is kind of dirty because it's been raining outside quite a lot, and I've been dragging the mud from outside inside because I do gotta come in here every day and check on the plants. But I'm really happy with the tarp, but I have one big issue, and my issue is not with the tarp, right? We put the tarp down to prevent the weeds from growing, but the weeds still found a way. So we made these holes for the vegetables, and if we take a look right down here, right next to the vegetables, what do we have? Weeds. They always find a way. I wish the vegetables were as resilient as these weeds. So if I pull out one of these cucumbers, it's not gonna grow back, right? But if I pull out these weeds, in about a week, they're gonna be back. Despite the terrible weather, the cucumbers were doing well and so were the tomatoes, because not long after the cucumbers, the tomatoes started to make some flowers as well. And last year, some of the tomato flowers actually withered away and they didn't produce the actual tomatoes, so this year I decided to help out the flowers with this thing. Right, so this is a spray that we are going to use on the tomato flowers, and it's supposed to help the flowers keep them healthy and encourage them to make the actual tomato. Now I don't think this is bad for humans, but I still got some health and safety gear on, gloves, goggles, a mask, hat. So we're gonna spray all the flowers and we are going to hope that they are all going to produce some tasty tomatoes. The plants did require a tiny bit of work, from spraying them to pruning them. They would always grow these extra bits that don't actually make any vegetables, so I had to remove them every other week basically, because every time I removed them, they would always grow back. One thing I should mention is that I've somehow ripped my pants. Also, I'm not really an expert gardener. I don't really know what I'm doing. I haven't, studied gardening. I don't really have a green thumb, so I'm just kind of winging it and hoping for the best. So here's hoping that all the vegetables from the greenhouse here are going to do well. Having that said though, check this out. I think today we're gonna be able to munch on some cucumbers because some of them grew pretty big actually. We have a huge one here. We have some more in the back there. Oh, look at that guy in the back all the way there. Check it out. Nice. Oh, and check it out here. Ho ho ho. Now we're talking. I think today we're gonna be able to munch on some tasty cucumbers. And check it out! I made these! Well, I mean, I didn't make them, I grew them here in the greenhouse, but I don't even know if you guys can hear me over this rain. It was sunny earlier, but now listen to that. It's raining once again. This entire month of May it's been raining literally every other day. And as a side note, I'm actually growing strawberries outside, and since it's been raining so much, most of them have gone bad because they've been sitting in the rain all day long. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. But on the bright side, we have some cucumbers. So we are going to go and try and make ourselves a cucumber sandwich. Alright, so we're gonna try and make a bit of a cucumber sandwich here. I'm not much of a cook, so I'm gonna try my best here. We got some bread. Next up, we are going to use some of this spreadable butter. It's not really butter, if I'm gonna be honest. It's got like 1% butter, but I don't know how to pronounce margarine or something. So we're just gonna call it spreadable butter. Next up, we got some cheese. I like cheese. Cheese is very good. We'll get a couple of olives onto here as well. And last but not least, the cucumbers that we grew in the greenhouse. Look at that. Are they tasty? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Oh, that is very good. Mmm. Oh geez. Oh, well worth all the effort. My goodness. And check it out. Our cucumber sandwich is done. Oh, actually, it's not done. Hold on. Now it's done. I'm actually really happy with that. Now with the sandwich, but you know what I mean, with the cucumbers, they grew really well. Now let's just hope that the tomatoes are going to grow just as well. We still had to wait a few good weeks for the tomatoes to grow, but as I was doing that, I did notice that some of the cucumbers went bad. Well, that does not look good. This cucumber looks like it's gone bad for some reason. I mean, this one here is fine, but then this one up here, it's all yellow and well, it's gone bad. And we definitely gotta remove it so it doesn't infect all the others. Let me just do this. Look at that. What's happened to this poor guy? Now I didn't really know why that happened, so I decided to visit a friend of mine and see how his cucumbers were doing. Oh my goodness, look at them all. They're so gorgeous. I should mention that I was here when he planted all these, and the last time I saw them they were like this. And now they're huge. Look at these. Have you been munching on them?
Starting 5 days ago.
Okay, so you have been eating.
Yes, like 2 kilos every 2 days, I think.
Oh my goodness, are they tasty?
Yes, they are very.
Oh my goodness, look at all these. I gotta say, mine are taller, but yours have a lot more cucumbers. They're shorter, but they're full of cucumbers. Look at all these guys. Jeez. When did they grow so much?
I think in 3 weeks, because the
Nice.
first 2 weeks nothing happened.
Also, can I just say, today is the 1st of June, and it's like 30 degrees Celsius. And yesterday was May, and it was like, what, 20?
22, maybe
So
23.
in like a day, we had like 8 to 10 degrees, raise in temperature. It's so hot. That's what I'm trying to say. The entire month of May, this is the last time that I'm going to complain about the weather, but the entire month of May, it was cold and rainy. Today, 1st of June,
Yes, you can't stay outside in the sun.
it's summer already. Also, it's extremely hot in here, I gotta be honest. Oh,
I think it's like 35 inside, that's why it's too hot.
And the reason I'm here is to ask you a question. So my cucumbers went yellow when they were small. They've gone bad. Did any of yours go bad?
Oh yeah, they did.
Do you know why?
I guess it's because of that weather, because
Shitty
it
weather?
was too rainy and too humid. Or maybe because of some deficiencies, but I don't know. It's first time doing it, so I'm just guessing.
So if we remove them, is that gonna protect the plant?
Yes, I guess so.
All right, there we go. So it's a good thing that I did remove them. Not a lot of them, but some of them went bad, and I was curious if yours went bad as well. But
Yes, they did.
they're gorgeous. Look at all these. My goodness. Nice. Well, we didn't know exactly why some of the cucumbers were going bad, but luckily only a small number of them got spoiled like that. Overall, I would say that the cucumbers were a success. They grew all the way up to the roof of the greenhouse and they produced some really tasty cucumbers, and it looked like the tomatoes were thriving as well. Our tomato spray worked, the flowers didn't wither away and they made some actual tomatoes, and the peppers, they started making some flowers as well. And there we have it. We are going to stop here for today. We might jump back in the greenhouse and do some harvesting once the tomatoes ripen, but thank you all for taking the time to check out this video, and I will see you in the next one.